You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. Tonight's edition of the Prospect Show is brought to you by Caisse Financial Group, Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, and TOVI Hockey. As you can tell by my background here, we've now switched over to the green screen once again, got a new webcam from my boss, Glenn Munford, so happy that he was able to get me this, making the green screen look a lot better, and honestly just making the picture quality look a lot better as well. So I just want to let you guys know that moving forward here, unless something else changes, going to be using the green screen background as the background for the Prospect Show and all my other shows that I do here on the network. But a new edition of the Prospect Show this week. Special thanks to everyone that tuned into last week's rerun edition of the Prospect Show. The interview I did back on July 2nd with Connor Bedard, reran that last week because I had no new guests to have on the show. And this week I got two new people joining the show here that have never been guests on the Prospect Show. And I'm excited for this first one. It's going to be the return of the MCN Sports Advising segment here on the network. And I'm going to be joined by Noa Halat, number 2 defenseman for the Okotoks Oilers U15 AAA team in the Alberta Elite Hockey League. He's from Calgary, Alberta. He's put up 21 points in 34 games this season. I'm going to have a chance to ask Noah about the season he had, along with the season that his team had, as well as they're gearing up now, ready to get going for playoffs very soon. And then I'll also end off by asking Noah about his time being advised by MCN Sports Advising. So not only Noah will be joining the show tonight, but we got another great guest joining the show as well coming up later on. But first off, let's get this started. We'll roll the intro and bring on number 2 defenseman for the Okotoks Oilers U15 AAA team, Noa Halat, here on this edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions.
Wow!
There he is, Noa Halat, number 2 defenseman for the Okotoks Oilers U15 AAA team in the Alberta Elite Hockey League. Noah, great to have you here on the show tonight, man. You've had a successful season playing in the U15 AAA League in the EHL this season, but how are you doing on this Monday night, man? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on this. Thank you. It's been good. We're having a good season, lots of fun, and we're just heading into playoffs.
Yeah, the best time of the year. I feel like you'd agree with that when playoff hockey returns. Obviously, not being able to have it last season. How psyched are you to get this, potential run this team could go on started very soon?
Oh, it's been awesome. I'm very excited for playoffs. Of course, last year we didn't get to play, but this year feels good. I love playoff hockey, the intensity, the physicality. It's all fun, but I think we have a good shot at getting some success. We've had a good year, and now the real hard work starts. So.
Yeah, and the team has had success this season, finished 3rd in the South Division, a record of 23-10-1. Let's talk about you, though, first, statistically, from that standpoint. 2nd in defensive points. In terms of defensemen on your team, you ranked 2nd with 21 points in 34 games, more of a playmaker in those stats with 17 assists to your 4 goals. But just talk about how nice it was for you to have this type of season, this being your draft year as well, to be able to put up this type of production.
Oh, it's great. Anything to contribute to the team, right? If I'm not putting up the points to try and get my defensive abilities, but of course, everyone likes putting up points, but it's nice to have a lot of assists too. It's been a good year, like statistically, but I'm having lots of fun.
talk about your playing style. Obviously, being a defenseman, you can put up the points. I assume you're getting your own end as well. But what type of playing style does Noa Halat offer to a hockey team out there?
I feel like more of a stay-at-home defenseman. I like to use my physicality, get a lot of shots off, but I feel like those are my strengths that I bring to the team.
Of course, you haven't had many years of playing in hitting leagues yet, but since hitting has been introduced to you and the levels that you've played in hockey, have you found yourself always kind of being that physical presence out there?
Yeah, that's what I try to be. I've tried to be more physical than others on the ice, try and make myself, I guess you say, more like to intimidate players, but try and throw my body around as much as I can, just to get that puck and just, yeah, I like it. I've enjoyed body contact more than, I guess, non-body contact. So
You spoke about yourself being more of that stay-at-home defenseman. Talk about your abilities in the offensive zone, though. You know, what type of abilities you bring out there as an offensive aspect. And not too sure what is going on here. Seems like we are having some connection difficulties. I will message Noah here and we'll try to get him back on the show. Seems like he's froze up, but yeah, talking about just, you know, what is coming up on tonight's edition of the Prospect Show, everybody. Going to be joined by Luke Moroz of the Prairie Storm U15 AA team in the Saskatchewan AA Hockey League. And let me tell you, Luke Moroz just scouting his profile, his stats, sensational offensive talent, 108 points in 27 games played this season. Going to be awesome to talk to him. Also going to be breaking down his game coming up later on in the show on Player Breakdown. But seems like we got Noah back on the show. Noah, I had to kick you out of the stream there. Connection was a bit iffy.
yeah,
Can you hear me better now?
yeah, I can. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Connection difficulties are something that they happen. It's something that you can't really get around sometimes. But I'll ask you the question again. Just your game as an offensive player out there. I mean, obviously being a stay-at-home defenseman, but what would you say you bring to the table as an offensive player out there when you are asked to, you know, bring your offensive game?
I would say I like to use my shot a lot, get shots off on net, just look for a rebound, like the forwards all crash the net. I move the puck, like on the power play, I can move the puck good side to side. That's really it. I just try and get a lot of shots off, and if I don't have anything, try and pass it down to the winger or just dump it back in. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and you put up, I mean, 17 assists this year, obviously having 4 goals as well. So that shot on display for some goals 4 times this year. But, you know, you spoke about just being able to be on the power play and use your playmaking abilities there. How nice is it to know that your coaches could trust you this season on the power play, putting you out in those big situations?
Oh, I enjoy it a lot, and I love being out in those situations. Even penalty kill too. I have fun whenever I know the coaches can trust me. It feels good out being out there, just like doing what I can do best, and just trying to get goals for the team. Anything.
And of course, with this being your draft year coming up, you have a chance, of course, to get drafted into the WHL. Must be nice to know that you're getting a lot of opportunity to showcase your skills and, you know, potentially boost your draft stock. You're heading into the WHL draft coming up later this year.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I always try and work at 110% just to showcase everything I've got, but it's cool being up there, seeing everybody in the stands, just trying to do what I can do best, just playing my game.
You know, obviously the season last year for all hockey players in Canada getting cut short due to COVID-19. Obviously, getting to play a full slate of games this year must have been nice. How nice was it to return to some normal this year, getting to play hockey consistently once again?
Oh, it's been way better. Like knowing that you can play this weekend without any, I guess, other than injuries from your teammates or myself, just anything like that feels good. having everything back to normal. Well, almost normal, but just it's better than 6 games last season we had. But I love being out there, love having a chance to show myself when now we got the full season. So
What would you say were the biggest adjustments for you this season, coming into this U15 AAA league? Just adjusting to the level of play out there, especially since you weren't able to play in games last season due to, the COVID-19 pandemic shutting everything down. What the adjustments were like this season, just as the year went along, getting back into the swing of things in this U15 AAA league.
I feel like it's a much faster game than like last year, so it's been good. Um, yeah, just keeping up with the speed. A lot more puck movement too. More physicality as we're getting older. So I guess that's really it with the higher level. I like it. You just kind of move up in everything. It's much more skilled, faster play, just more physicality. Some bigger kids out there, but it's good.
Yeah, for sure, and it's good that you've been able to adjust nicely into this league. This season being one of the defensemen that your coaches and your teammates rely upon this year. But going into something about goals, obviously a huge goal for every hockey player is to come away with the championship at the end of the season. But were there any goals that you set for yourself at the start of the year that you felt like you were able to accomplish this season so far?
I feel like just to play my game, just keep things simple. I've always wanted to do this since the start of the season. Like sometimes I've got off track, but I feel like I've been doing a bit better with it. Just playing like as long as I just keep to what I'm doing, don't try too much risky stuff. Just keep my game simple, play my game, stay physical every game, and I try and get lots of shots off. I've been always trying to like get a goal for as how many shots I can get off in a game, but without any like dumb shots because I don't want my shots getting blocked a lot too. So I have to be careful. I got to make sure I keep my head up, and I guess that's probably it right now for my goals. And of course, we got to do good in this playoff. So I'm gonna do as much as I can, and I know my team will do as much as I can to get the win.
Yeah, and talking about those high quality shots, right? I mean, shots that are gonna hit the net or potentially hit the net compared to some that might get blocked out there. Nice to know that you have that awareness in that aspect of things. Got to ask you this in terms of when you were keeping track, what was the most amount of shots you put up in a game this season?
I actually remember this was like 2 weeks ago. I ended up having 11 shots on goal that game, which
Wow.
was very good. And they're high quality shots. I think I had 13 shot attempts. I think it was that game. So I think one got blocked, one missed the net. But I had 11 shots, and I was actually very happy with that. And I think I got 2 assists that game, so I was very happy with myself.
Well, 11 shots hitting double digits, always impressive, and impressive that you did 11 shots on net when you took 13, which is a good performance from you in that one game that you put up that amount. But going into the team now, as mentioned before, team finished third in the South Division with a 23-10-1 record, 168 goals as a team this year, which ranked second in the South Division, and only gave up 88 against, which ranked third least given up in the South Division. Talk about this team offensively. Obviously, one of the top offensive teams, not only in the South Division this year, but also in the whole AAHL U15 AAA league. Talk about, just how nice it was to see this team put out the offensive output that they put up this year.
Oh, it's been amazing. Our team very good offensively and defensively too, but we're great down low. It makes me happy when everybody's coming out on top, right? When like I find out we finished one of the top in our league for goals for and well, not goals for, sorry. Like when we sorry, I gotta rephrase that.
No worries.
I like how many opportunities we make. We're great down low. We're good at puck movement. I've been very happy with this season. Our team works very hard. The boys are very hardworking kids, and it's been a good year.
Do you think that's something that could set you boys apart come playoff time, just having that mentality of working hard, putting in the work every single shift out there?
Yeah, 100%. like work ethic can be skill any day, which we do have skill, but our team is very hardworking, and I know that can help us come out on top.
Moving into the defensive zone, only 88 goals against, which was third least given up in the whole South Division. Just to be able to get this type of consistency, this type of play in the D zone, to have success like that must be a pretty good feeling, of course, for yourself as well, being one of the team's better defensemen out there.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Our team is very good defensively, just getting pucks out. A lot of block shots this season actually from our team. It's been very good actually. We cover the slot well. It's the same with the outsides too. Our defensive play is very strong. And once we get the puck out, then get it deep or carry it in, then we're good in the offensive zone too. So I've been very happy with our team. And again, our work ethic comes in our defensive zone as well.
Yeah, got to have that strong work ethic in both ends to have success, right? And definitely you boys were able to get that this season. But talk about the coaching, the structure that the coaches want you boys to play with out there, just as well as the systems that they put out. Talk about, the coaches, what they gave you boys in terms of the tools to succeed this season, and for you boys to apply yourselves and be able to execute on those systems that you boys played this year that the coaches gave.
Yeah, the coaches it's very good. They're very good coaches. They like says so they always want us working at 110%. Don't take dumb penalties, which we've been getting better at, not taking dumb penalties lately. And it's been very good. We our systems, we work on them a lot in practice, so and some you can usually tell in games when they all work, I guess. But yeah, it's been very good. Very good coaches.
The team is 8-1-1 in the last 10, obviously having a successful season, but especially in these last 10 games, must be nice to have this type of strong play heading into the playoffs, which is coming up soon. But talk about these last 10 games, how the team has been able to have so much success. Does it come down to those things, just being able to put that puck in that defend, and also having that high work ethic that has been shown throughout the season for this team?
Yeah, it's awesome. It shows that all the boys care when it matters. Like we're trying to get third, and we needed 6 wins in a row at the time, and we ended up going 6-0 and needing to play the second best team in the league twice. We ended up coming on top twice, and it made me extremely happy, showing that all the boys cared so much. We all worked our butts off. We just won all 6 games, and now I know that's leading into playoffs. Same mentality, same work ethic, so it'll be good. I'm excited.
Obviously, don't want to take any team lightly out there, but especially when you're able to beat teams that are near the top of the standings, teams that are in front of you guys, being able to come out on top must give this team a lot more confidence, being able to do that.
Yeah, 100%. Now we know, we know we could play against any team in this league. Like, we just need to work our butts off, keep going, keep things simple, move the puck, just everything that we've been doing. We got to continue to playoffs and see how it goes, but we just got to keep this consistency going.
Next up for you boys is playoffs. When exactly do playoffs start? When's that first game?
I think it's March 9th. We're playing Medicine Hat in the first round. So we play, yeah, I think the 9th and the 11th is game 2. And then game 3, if it happens, I don't think it's been determined yet when that will be.
So it's a best 2 out of 3 for the first round. Is it like best 2 out of 3 throughout the whole playoffs?
Yeah, I know it's best 2 out of 3 for the first 2 rounds. And I assume it'd be for the semis and the finals too, but I'm not sure. I've only heard about the first 2 rounds so far, so I'd have to find the information out.
Yeah, also got to focus on that first round coming up, first and foremost, for this team looking to take care of business. What's going to be the preparation like this week in practice, leading up to that first playoff game, getting this team ready to go on a potential run this season?
We just have to make sure that we're practicing like it's a game every day. just working our butts off, just keep going. You always do stuff that you'll do in a game in practice, so that way we're not developing bad habits. So I think that our team, I trust them. I know that they'll keep a good work ethic, and it'll be good.
And you said that Medicine Hat is that first opponent. How do you feel like this team is going to match up against this Medicine Hat team in the first round?
I think it'll be a good matchup. They are a strong team, but I know that we have beat them 2 times out of the 3 times we played them. We beat them 3 times, but you never know what happens in playoffs. Some teams you never know what happened. We can't get cocky or anything, right? So we just need to keep doing what we're doing. I know if we're both playing at our top work ethic, I know we could come out on top. So we just need to make sure that we don't lose focus and just keep doing what we're doing.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what will happen for the Okotoks Oilers U15 AAA team coming up in these playoffs in the AEHL, the Alberta Elite Hockey League. But no, we are going to move away from talking about your time with the Oilers. Might mention it a bit coming up here, but we're going to go to our first commercial break here in the show. Coming up, I'll be back with Noah to talk about his time being advised by MCN Sports Advising. You're watching The Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Stick around with myself and Noah after this commercial break.
Welcome to Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot-Mound Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
Welcome back to the MCN Sports Advising segment here on this week's edition of The Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Have not dove into MCN Sports Advising, talking to Noah about that yet, but it's Noa Halat, number 2 defenseman for the Okotoks Oilers, joining the show. I had a chance to speak to Noah about his season with Okotoks, as well as the team's season this year. They're getting revved up, ready to go for a potential playoff run here, starting off with a first-round matchup against Medicine Hat, but still got your team in my background here, Noah. I'm going to leave it like that, but we will move into talking about MCN Sports Advising now. I'll start off with this question for you. How did you discover MCN, and how do you end up joining them?
They reached out to me through text, and they were just looking for my parents' information, and we got in contact with them and looked more about them, and they're great. We looked like we wanted to join with them, so we did. And
how cool is that experience, just knowing that an advising company, an advising place like MCN Sports Advising wanted you, reached out to you? How cool is that experience to have that experience happen to you?
Oh, it was amazing. I was very honored. I was happy that people know, like, that at least I know that what I'm showcasing, some people can like to see. So I was very happy, and I was very honored to get reached out by MCN.
They got many different advisors, but of course the owner, and he's also an advisor, is Matt Gorman. Is that who you are working with, or are you working with one of the other advisors that they have?
Yeah, I've been working with Matt, and there's been a lot of other advisors that have been reaching out with me. They keep in contact with me, helping my game, telling me like specific things I can help change my game to make it better, which I've been loving so far. They've been helping me a lot, and it's been amazing.
What's that relationship been with you and Matt, knowing that he is your official advisor? Of course, you've been working with other advisors, like you said, but that relationship, what's that been like from, I guess, a professional standpoint, from a advisor to player relationship?
Oh, it's amazing. I know what he knows, that he knows what he's talking about, and he can tell me stuff that I wouldn't even notice, but I can tell when I do it, it changes my game. And I'm very grateful for it, that he can help me so much, and I've been very happy with it. So that's me.
Great to hear that he's able to give you some pointers. And yeah, Matt does have a lot of experience playing in many different places professionally as well in his hockey career, when he was playing, when he was lacing up the skates. But in terms of advising, what has been the biggest takeaways from you so far of what, Matt and the rest of the advisors that you have worked with have been telling you about your game?
Really just keep things simple. Play my game, don't get off track. I gotta keep my feet moving all the time. I'm gonna keep working on my quick feet, which I've been trying to do. And yeah, really, they just know whenever I need that reminder. Just those things, I feel like, especially, they can tell me, and I think that it helps me a lot.
Have you been able to do any on ice training with them at this point?
No, I haven't, not yet, but I think we will in the future. I don't think we've had the time for it yet. We've had a very busy schedule, actually.
Yeah, for sure. They're busy. You're busy. Everyone seems to be busy. I mean, myself, I'm busy as well. So it's going to be great for you to be able to train with them once once both sides are able to find the time. But of course, education is a huge thing that they offer too. Guidance in terms of that. How huge has that been so far with your experience with MCN?
It's been good. Yeah, I always try to keep my marks up high, but knowing that they try and guide that too, like, I makes me want to work harder, knowing that people are also watching my grades. Of course, I need to keep it to my parents' standards. And like, I've seen some like universities and like what they want out of it and just everything. I just need to keep my grades high, because you never know what could happen, and you always need school.
Is that something that Matt Gorman has also been preaching to you about, the importance of how important really school is?
Yeah, he hasn't, but my parents, they've always said that always need school first, right? So they just always just keep my grades like at a
Right.
good grade, just so you always need your education. Just
Yeah.
so I just try and keep my ethic in hockey, and same with school. So
Yeah, I'm sure I've said this many times, but education's so huge because you never know when you could stop playing this game. Of course, you being young, you got a lot left in the tank, of course, but having education there is definitely the most important thing, to have that strong background there. But obviously, the WHL draft coming up later on this year, you're eligible for this year's draft. As MCN, Matt Gorman and the crew, told you about what to expect with this WHL draft, the process of how to approach it?
yeah, I mostly know about the draft just with my dad's been telling me stuff too. So I know what to expect and like what can happen and all the outcomes, like if you're drafted or undrafted. So I'm well aware of it,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see what happens. So we'll see.
Yeah, and first off, you gotta take care of business with this Okotoks Oilers team before you focus on anything else, right? But last question for you here, Noah. In your opinion, from your experience so far with MCN, seems like it's been nothing but positives for you. So, in your opinion, why do you think a hockey player should choose MCN as that advising company to advise them?
Oh, they're great. I think just they can point out so many small things in your game that could impact you in the most positive way. They keep in touch with you like constantly. It's not like they'll message you like once every 2 weeks. They're there messaging me almost every day, every game. They're there. They'll send advisors to my games. If not, they'll be watching it on hockey TV. They're constantly on you, and it's amazing how much they can help you.
Well, once again, here, as I always say, some more positive words from another player that is advised by MCN Sports Advising. So that's going to do it for this week's edition of the MCN Sports Advising segment here on the Prospect Show on ASTV. Noa Halat, number 2 defenseman of the Okotoks Oilers U15 AAA team in the Alberta Elite Hockey League, joining this week's edition of the MCN Sports Advising segment. Noah, thanks for doing this once again, man. I had a blast. I hope you did too, and best luck to yourself, moving forward in your hockey career and, in the present tense. Best of luck to you and the team coming up here shortly as you guys start off the playoffs.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome. Love talking about this. This is amazing. Yeah, thank you so much again. I appreciate it.
Happy to have you on, man. And, if the opportunity arises, would love to have you on the show once again here in the future.
I'd love to be here again. I've enjoyed this experience 100%.
Awesome, Noah. You take care, man. Have a good night, man.
Yeah, you too.
And Noa Halat, hard not to smile, when talking to a kid like that that's just so passionate about the sport he plays and, obviously motivated here for what's coming up next for the playoffs for his team, which they will be starting off their playoff journey for that championship in the Alberta Elite Hockey League very soon here. But we are going to take it to a commercial break here once again, and coming up after this next commercial break, I'm going to be joined by a fantastic offensive talent this season in his in the hockey league he's playing in for the Prairie Storm U15 AA team in Luke Moroz. 108 points in 27 games played in the U15 AA Saskatchewan AA Hockey League. So coming up next, I'm going to have a chance to ask Luke all about the season that he's had, and as well about some other things as well. So you've been watching the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Stick around for more after the commercial break as I bring on number 17 of the Prairie Storm U15 AA team, Luke Moroz, next here on the Prospect Show on ASTV. On this edition of the Prospect Show now is Luke Moroz, number 17 forward for the Prairie Storm U15 AA team in the Saskatchewan AA Hockey League. Luke, thanks for coming on and doing this, man. I know this is your first interview. I'm excited to, be that first host to interview you because, man, just looking at your stats, you could very well be making big in the hockey world as the years go along here. But how are you doing on this Monday, man?
Oh, pretty good. Chilling. How are you?
I'm good. And I'm the same, chilling right now. Of course, it's great to be back here on the network for another weekend doing this show, the Prospect Show. But let's talk about your season, Luke. I mean, 27 games played to this point, 47 goals, 61 assists for 108 points. You lead your team and the league in points, goals, and assists so far. Just talk about how proud it's made you having this type of success this season to put up this amount of points.
I don't know. Pretty exciting. Coaches helped me a lot with it. Team helps a lot. So I guess, yeah.
Talk about, how nice it's been to have this type of coaching staff to put you out in, many different situations with you being the team's leading point getter, goal scorer, and assist leader, just the trust they've been able to put in you.
Oh, without them, I would not be where I am right now. They help me completely. They're my number one supporters on and off the ice all the time. They're always helping me. It's great.
Obviously you've put up a lot of numbers this season, some big numbers this season, but give the insight to the viewers, what type of player that Luke Moroz is out there.
I'm a hard, fast playmaker. I play 200 feet. I feel like I make the kids around me better. I just try and move the puck quick and don't turn pucks over, I guess.
talking about your goals here, Luke. I mean, 47 goals, leading the team and league in goals. Talk about your shot. Is it something that you've been working at throughout the years, or is it something that just comes naturally to you?
Oh yeah, I've been working on that quite a bit at my house and with some people I know, and just it's gotten a lot better. I just try and make it as quick as possible, get it off in tough situations, strike the goalies when they're not expecting it. It's most important.
Talk about some of those drills that you do at home to work on stuff like that, like catching the goalies off guard, getting the shot to where it's at right now, getting it faster at this point.
Oh, just some like I use a passing rebounder, like catch and release, like don't hold on to the puck too long, or like toe drag shots. I put like an obstacle and try and shoot around it. Just little things like that can go right into the game real quick.
Your playmaking ability has been on full display, of course, this season as well. 61 assists in those 27 games, of course, leading the league and your team in that category. Talk about just your playmaking ability, what that comes down to out there, how you feel as a playmaker out there.
I just feel like it's quite natural. I think I've had it for quite my life, pretty much all my hockey career. As soon as I get into the game, it's natural. It just comes on to me, and I just do it. I don't know.
Does that go into your hockey IQ, would you say?
Yeah, yes, I think it would.
You talked about how you feel like you're that reliable 200-foot player out there. Talk about your defensive game, what type of player you are in the defensive zone.
I just feel like defensive zone is really important because you're not going to score from your own end, and you just got to – defense creates offense. You got to play defense before you can't cheat the zone. You got to play defense before you try and go score. I don't know. It just helps the team out more playing defense. I'm not sure.
Right. Good defense translates into good offense, of course. Are you a center or a winger out there, Luke?
Center.
So obviously a lot of responsibility as a centerman out there in the defensive zone. Obviously all players out there having responsibilities in the D zone, but feeling like that center position holds a bit more value over the wingers. Just talk about, having that type of responsibility to be relied on even more in the defensive zone as a center, how you've been able to handle that this season.
Just being able to support the D in the D zone and being able to win the battles in the corners, get the puck out smoothly so the team's not struggling in the D zone just helps a lot more. Yeah.
You've had a chance to be rewarded by getting called up to play with the Moose Jaw Warriors U18 AAA team this season for 2 games. You had a point in one of those games, but talk about, what that opportunity was like for you getting called up to play with the older age group at this point.
I was quite out of nowhere. I wasn't really expecting it. I got called up the day before the game. A lot faster than Bantam hockey, I can tell you that. Had to get used to it really quick because you can't take a shift off or the other team will capitalize. That's what I thought.
How did you feel that your experience went as you got used to more of those things? Of course, the quicker game and the more physical game that is displayed out there in the U18 AAA league.
I just felt that without moving the puck, you're gonna get bodied. You gotta adapt to it real quick because if you don't, like I said, the team's gonna capitalize on the opportunities you give them. So, yeah, that's what I think about it.
And of course, that's great that you were able to have a chance to play 2 games already because you could be very well playing in this league coming up next season with whichever team you choose to commit to there. But the season before this year, 2020, 2021, of course, not being able to have a full season, but you were able to play 4 games with the Prairie Storm U15 team. You put up 7 goals, 2 assists in those 4 games. Just talk about what it was like getting a chance to play in that league last year, having that, early familiarity of what the league would bring this season for you.
It was good to play at least 4 games. Wish we could play a whole season, but I feel like the reason why I had some of those points because I got to play with some really good players. Like I know one guy who plays on the Pack Canadians now. He's a super smart player. We think the same, so I think he helped me a lot during that season and got me ready for this season too.
Talk about, did you have any type of off-season work heading into this season? Like maybe you started going into the gym a bit more. I know you being a young kid, obviously some players at this age don't take, their skills into the gym and try to work on them there. But did you have a chance to work on any of that strength stuff during the off-season to get ready for this year?
Yeah, I got to go to 3 workouts a week. And then right after this season, I got to do like some home workouts. Got a gym in the garage, so that helped a lot too. And yeah.
Talk about the benefits that this offseason work that you has had into the success that you've had this season.
Well, I think because we didn't get to play a lot of games, we got to work on our skills a lot and hockey sense and practices, and because we had like 5 practices a week, so that helps a ton. And then you got the off season longer than normal because season didn't go on, so you got a lot more time to work on the things you need to, and I think that helped a lot for this season.
Talk about, something that maybe in your game before this season maybe wasn't the strongest. Is there something in your game that, popped up as being one of your stronger suits this season from years past?
Oh, my stride for sure, I think. Last year, my stride wasn't the very strongest, but over the offseason, a lot of power skating. During school hours, a lot of power skating, so that helped. So, yeah.
Let's move back into this season now, Luke. Just talking about the team now in general. The team's sitting tied for first in the South Division at this point with a 25-4-1, 0-1 record. Obviously, the team has had a lot of success. You boys will be looking to be huge contenders come playoff time. But just talk about, in your opinion, why you felt that this team has been able to have so much success this season.
I think we're really successful because of our coaches. They helped us a lot, but the willingness to play. I think we had a full team most of the year, and everyone put in their work and did their job to help each other. That's how it went pretty much.
What's the bond been like this season, in the dressing room as well as out there on the ice?
Culture's been well. I like the dressing room, but it gets shaky a couple of times, some teasing going here and there. But I like everyone's drive to get better at the sport. I think that's what makes us a good hockey team.
How nice is it to know that you boys have been able to work through, like you said, some of those shaky things? Like, obviously, the boys teasing each other just kind of comes with the hockey culture at times, but just being able to, overcome some of those shaky issues that the team may have in the dressing room and to, put in a type of product that you boys have put out this season, being tied for first at this point in the South Division.
It's just good. It's getting over another obstacle. It's a part of the season. I guess that's really it.
Talk about, this team's offense. Obviously, you have, 47 goals this year, but the team has a 30-plus goal scorer in Jonah Pinnell, who has 34 goals, 3 players with at least 20 goals or more, and Cale Johns, Leo Jewett, and Boston Schmidt. And then just looking at this team in general, only 1 player hasn't scored. Just talk about how huge it has been to have not only depth, but having a lot of players that can score a lot of goals.
It's huge. You can not just rely on a couple players. I like having the depth. You can rely on all 4 lines. Everyone puts in their work, and the pucks just go in the net.
What line have you had a chance to play on this season, Luke?
I play with Leo Jewett and Boston Schmidt most of the year so far.
Talk about how you boys have been able to create some chemistry with each other in terms of being a very successful line out there.
Well, I like what I said, doing our jobs earlier. Leo's more of a power forward. He can get in the corners and separate the puck from bodying kids. So I pick it up and pass to Boston, and Boston tucks it in, or the other way around. We really skilled together, and our chemistry is just perfect. I like it.
Talking about the power play now, this team generating 25.74% on the power play this year, which ranks 8th in the league. Talk about how nice it's been to see this type of success on the power play this year.
Oh, it's nice. We got a couple defensemen that are smart with the puck and good cross-team passes that help get the D to scramble. I like shots on net mentality. It's just been working well so far this year.
What's your role out there on the power play? Do you play on that half wall down low, or are you in front of the net? Where exactly does Luke Moroz play on the power play?
Normally I play on the half wall, working on the wall, and then use the other D as cross seam or work it low, pretty much.
Would you say that just your type of game where you're that quick type of player, a player with a good shot, a player who could, step into those high quality scoring areas on the power play with more room is giving you that type of success that you found yourself having on the power play this year?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like I see the play before it happens. So if I get the puck, I can move it quickly to get the defenseman caught off guard. So an easy shot for one of my teammates or something like that.
moving over to the other side of special teams on the penalty kill, even though this team has taken the second most penalties in the league this year, this is the best PK in the league at 88.2%. To be able to have that type of PK where your team may get into penalty trouble, but the PK is more likely than not able to, get the boys out of it. How nice has that been for this team to have that luxury of that this season?
It's good because sometimes we take some dumb penalties, but the way our penalty kill is structured, it's pretty dominant out there, including some shorthanded goals too. It's pretty good.
I assume that you've had a chance to play on PK this year?
Yeah.
Talk about just how you've enjoyed playing on the PK, your type of game, how it is able to give this team an advantage when you're out there on the PK.
Just talking about like the 200-foot, I like the defense before offense, no cheat in the zone, and just like doing our jobs on the PK, everyone on the same page, it works good, works out well.
Would you say you're the type of player out there to, sacrifice the body and get in the shooting lanes to block shots?
Sometimes, but only when I go block a shot. Most people don't shoot the puck, so I don't know.
Right. Just kind of giving that deception, giving that fake when you go down to block it. But talking about the team's defense, the defensemen on this team, you spoke about how they've been able to, do some good things on the power play this year. But what about this team when you guys are 5-on-5 in the D zone? What this defensive core has been like this year?
I think we move pucks pretty well at the zone. Like the quicker we can get it out, the less scoring chances the other team has. I feel like our team's pretty good at getting their feet up ice and moving it out for the centers and wings to break out. It's pretty well.
Talk about how this team is able to play as a unit out there. Obviously, you being that centerman, you talk about how your game in the defensive zone has been good. But overall, as a unit, how this team is able to defend and help out this defensive core back there.
I think it's just the communication is key for our forwards to talk to the D, because we play a man on in the D zone. But if you don't communicate, I think we get scrambled. And when we talk to each other, it's just we all work as the same unit, and it works well for us to get the puck out.
Obviously, have to have good goaltending out there. It looks like the goaltenders you boys have put up pretty solid numbers this season. Talk about the goaltending for this team this season, how it's been.
Oh, it's been really well. Our goalies have stood on their head when they needed to. They've stepped up when they needed to. It's good. It's good.
The team's most recent win came against the Notre Dame Hounds, 7-0, bouncing back from a 3-2 loss that the Prairie Storm lost previously before this game to the Saskatoon Bandits. How nice was it to be able to have that type of bounce back after dropping one in the loss column to winning pretty dominantly 7-0 over Notre Dame?
It's good because they're most likely to be our first round team against in the playoffs. We might play Notre Dame. So it's good to set the tone there right then and there, tell them what we want to do for playoffs. And don't mess around.
How nice is it also to get another look at this team before the playoffs where this could potentially be a first-round matchup for this team?
It's actually really good because we can watch over the film and how we played against them, right there, not earlier in the year. We know how they play now and see what we can do to attack their weaknesses.
You spoke about film. Obviously, I assume this coaching staff goes over film with this team. How huge is that for, just a player being able to see the things that maybe you weren't able to see on the ice when the game was happening?
It's huge because it's just like when you're in the game, you're in a completely different mindset. You just want to get the puck, you want to win. And then you go over the game film and you realize what you could have done with the puck there. What could you have done before? And then you go over it and it just helps a lot more. So you know what to do next time when you got the chance to.
Would you say that that's helped you, obviously with you processing the game at a high level, having the IQ that you have to be able to take in that film and be able to, make those adjustments out there?
Yeah, it helps a lot, I think, because like I said, you visualize it. And then once you get into that spot, it's like second nature. It's instant. It makes it happen.
So taking a look at the schedule earlier here today, I don't see any remaining regular season games. Are you boys concluded the regular season at this point?
Yep. We got a couple practices and then playoffs start March 7th, I believe.
So coming up pretty soon here and coming up this weekend for you boys, but obviously this team has had a lot of success this year. But obviously, there's been some losses as well. I'm sure that there's some things that you boys would like to do better at times this season. What would you say is some of the things the boys have struggled with this year that are looking to clean up and improve in the playoffs here coming up?
Pre-game preparation is huge for us. Like slow starts, we want to get on the jump fast and set the tone early. I think that's one of our biggest struggles. And then some on the bench, talk on the bench, like always encouraging each other, trying to build each other up, not bring each other down. I think those are some of the biggest things we need to work on.
Of course, this will be your first ever playoff appearance playing in this league, in the Saskatchewan AA Hockey League for the U15 division. Just got to ask you how psyched you are to get things rolling here, playing in playoff hockey very soon.
So excited. It's a completely different game than regular season. It'll be a battle all the way through.
You feel like your game can translate nicely into the playoffs, being able to put up the same type of level of success you've had this season?
Yeah, I think so. I think we work together. I think everyone can have the same success they had in the regular season. Yeah.
Of course, you spoke about how there's about 2 practices before you boys get ready to play in the playoffs. So what's going to be the preparation, the mindset like in those 2 practices heading into game 1 of the playoffs?
I think it's going to be most on battles. Like, got to win puck battles, got to play physical in the playoffs because it's a lot more grittier and a lot more, more battles in the playoffs than it was in regular season because two losses and you're out.
Well, it will be interesting to see what happens, but you boys have been able to have a very successful to this point. It would be nice to see you boys finish it off with a championship coming up this year, but we'll have to wait and see. So, Luke, we're going to move away from talking about your team, Prairie Storm, the U15 AA team, and we'll come back after the show, and I'll ask you a bit about the WHL draft. And this is coming up later this year that you will be eligible for. I'm joined by number 17, forward for the Prairie Storm U15 AA team in the Saskatchewan AA Hockey League, Luke Moroz. Stick with me and Luke after this commercial break for more. After this commercial break here on the Prospect Show. Welcome back to the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Luke Moroz, number 17 for the Prairie Storm. He is wearing his team's hoodie as well. Joining this edition of the Prospect Show, I've been talking to Luke just about the season he's been having this year, the type of player he is, and just talking about his team, the Prairie Storm U15 AA team, the type of season that they've been having. But we're now going to move away from that, Luke, and talk about the WHL draft. Obviously, coming up later on this year in the spring. Obviously, something that I'm sure you're looking forward to that day coming. What's it been like, knowing that day is approaching more and more nowadays for yourself?
Well, it's quite stressful, a lot of pressure on it. Got to stay consistent in order to get high in the draft. So that's really it.
Have you been able to have any type of representation in terms of an advisor advising you throughout this?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I don't know. No.
Okay. So just talking about, as a young player, obviously you talk about how there's stress with it, pressure as well, talking about how you're looking to keep up that consistency. How have you, felt that you've been dealing with those things, the stress about the draft coming up, just trying to do what you can here to play your game with the Prairie Storm?
Just focusing on one thing at a time, really. Just one next shift, one day at a time, not focusing on, the next game, just your present moment, the moment you're in right then and there.
What's the support been like, throughout just your hockey life from, your father and Paul and just your mother, your family in general?
Oh, it's amazing. My parents helped me a lot. Same with my coaches. They know quite well with it. So the support there has been really good.
Have you been able to, has any teams contacted you at this point at all, or is that something that you feel like is going to come along later?
Yeah, I've had a couple contact me with some questionnaires, and then I had an interview against the Bandits after my game. So yeah.
Nice. How cool has those experiences been? Having teams, knowing that teams have been showing some interest in you, sending you questionnaires, and also being able to do an interview as well at this point.
Oh, it's pretty sweet. It's like a dream, I guess. Never really thought I'd get there until last year. This year, it's huge how things can change that quick.
I assume you don't really care which team drafts you come draft time. You're just happy to play for whatever organization.
Yep.
Right on. Obviously, it is a ways away still, and you still got a lot of time to decide. But at this point, do you feel like the WHL is that next place that you'd like to take your skills in hockey and be able to, continue developing in a league like that if you are able to get drafted there?
Yeah, I think it's probably most likely the best route for me to take in my next couple of years, because I just think the programs that the WHL has is perfect. Like the education and the gyms they have, the rinks, everything. It's perfect for me, I think.
Is there a WHL team growing up, obviously you being young still, about 14 years old, that you've, enjoyed watching? Do you have a favorite WHL team?
Oh yeah, the Regina Pats, I guess. I've been watching them my whole life, and now that Bedard's on their team, they're quite entertaining to go watch.
How cool is that to, have your favorite team, having drafted, one of the most skilled players, if not the most skilled player in WHL history?
It's so cool. You learn a lot from going to watch their games. Just by watching him, the way he plays away with the puck, you learn a lot. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, he's quite a talent there, Mr. Connor Bedard. For yourself, Luke, I got to ask you this. Didn't ask you earlier on, but do you watch like a lot of hockey, a lot of NHL?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Would you say you have a favorite team?
Yeah, Edmonton Oilers are my team.
Edmonton Oilers. So I'm assuming that would McDavid be your favorite player?
Yeah, McDavid. I love the way he plays.
All right. I assume, have you been able to have a chance to, study his game in depth, just the things that Connor McDavid does to make him the type of player that he is?
Yeah, a couple like when I watch their games, I see what he does, not with the puck, but away from the puck is huge, because like his ability to find open areas for himself to get him in the good shooting spots. I learned a lot from him too.
Right on, man. Seems like, at such a young age for you, you understand that importance of playing away from the puck. Is that something that you felt has become more important as your years have gone on here playing in the sport?
Yeah, because I feel like if you're on a guy, you can't get the puck off quick enough, you're not going to get as good chances as you normally would. So if you get away from the people around you and you find open area, it's a lot easier to score goals, and being on the guys. Creating your own separation is huge.
Would you say that you feel like there's any similarities in your game, the way you play, compared to a guy like Connor McDavid?
Yeah, but I'd say like the playmaking skills, but definitely not the speed.
Yeah, his speed it's God-given for sure. It's something that I don't think many people have in this world. Only a select few, and Connor McDavid, one of those players for sure. But I got to ask you this question. For whatever WHL franchise is going to be drafting you here coming up, later on this year, Luke, what type of player are they going to be getting, not only on the ice but off the ice as well?
Just a good human. Don't want to be rude to the people I am, or to the people around me. Just try and bring the team up, like good culture in the dressing rooms, and try and win a championship. That's pretty much it.
This season, I forgot to ask you this. Are you wearing a letter at all, an A or a C?
Yeah, I'm the captain for our team.
All right, on. So being the captain, how have you felt, this year, having that experience to be named the leader of all the boys with that C? Has been able to mature you in the way in terms of knowing how to lead by example out there, but also are you also that voice in the room as well?
Yeah, it's huge. I learn a lot just by being the captain, just like from my coaches, because they've been through it for a while. I learn a lot, and it helps me become a better human and a leader just by being the captain this year.
Well, Luke, I've had a blast being able to talk to you on this edition of the Prospect Show, man. I see nothing but success in your future here coming up in hockey if you're able to keep up that consistency in your level of play. Best of luck to you and the boys coming up not only in this first round of playoffs, but, if you boys are able to make it further as far as you go in the playoffs. So I'll let you go now, Luke. But until we talk to each other again in the near future here coming up in the next few years, you take her easy.
Thank you. You too.
Luke Moroz, number 17 of the Prairie Storm U15 AA team in the Saskatchewan AA Hockey League, joining the Prospect Show for this week on February 28th. And pretty crazy that I believe this is the last day of February, so moving into March very soon, which means in about 1 day, in about 3 hours here in Winnipeg time, Central Time. But coming up after the break, folks, I'm going to end off this week's edition of the Prospect Show. Might take another commercial break after I'm done the segment, but player breakdown is coming up next. And who will I be breaking down? Well, it's going to be the player I just talked to, and Luke Moroz, number 17 of the Prairie Storm U15 AA team in the U15 Saskatchewan AA Hockey League. You're watching the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Stick around for more after this commercial. Welcome back to the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Luke Moroz, number 17 of the Prairie Storm U15 AA team in the Saskatchewan AA Hockey League, joined the show here most recently. Special thanks to Luke for coming on the show this week and doing this interview. Hockey player with a very bright future indeed, as well as a special thanks to Noa Halat of the Okotoks Oilers U15 AAA team in the Alberta Elite Hockey League for joining this week's edition of the Prospect Show on the MCN Sports Advising segment for this week. So it's time now for this week's edition of Player Breakdown. It is edition number 10 of the segment, and I will be breaking down the game of Luke Moroz of the Prairie Storm U15 AA team. Of course, he's a forward. He actually plays center. And some of these clips that I do show you guys, though, I know one in particular, he was not taking the face-off draw, but a guy that's very good on the face-offs from what I've seen in the clips that his dad sent me. And just a player that has so many good things going for him in this game. And I mean, when you put up 108 points in 27 games played, not even playing the full amount of games that his team played in the season, I mean, being able to get called up to the Moose Jaw Warriors U18 AAA team as well. I mean, a very successful season for Luke this year, but 47 goals, 61 assists for 108 points in 27 games played. Going to be a key factor in his team's success in this playoffs coming up, even though this team is very deep all around. Luke has definitely been the standout player in this league and for this team this season. But it's time to break it down now, and you're looking at a guy like Luke Moroz, who's a creative hockey player. He's an aggressive hockey player. He's got a good shot as well, and he's just a good skater as well. I feel like that's probably something that has improved in his game. But let's take a look at the clips now of Luke Moroz, number 17 of the Prairie Storm. And just got to load up the clips now. And we will get started here in just 1 second. In just a moment, not 1 second, because we already are over a second. But yeah, there we go. That should be good. All right. So this first one, Luke is going to be lined up, I believe, at the top of the face-off circle. You can't see it here because the screen is cut off where he is at this point, but he is not taking the draw. But looking at this shot here, Luke not putting a lot of power into this shot, but as you can see it here, we'll play it once again. Luke cradling that puck off the draw and releasing it. A quick release from Luke there, an accurate shot, but looking at it, didn't put too much power into it, but obviously he didn't need to put too much power into that shot, as it did end up going in and beating the goaltender with that quick release that he had, that accurate shot he had as well, going top glove hand corner on the goaltender. But taking a look, I mean, talking about Luke on this next clip, about how good he is in the face-off circle. Well, actually, it's coming up after this clip, but just his creativity, just making moves on the defense, just calculated with his movements as well, his quick, elusive skating, his edges here on full display. You're going to see it here. He's going to go inside, outside, backhand windmill to a nutmeg through the player's skates here, the defenseman. And not exactly a backhand windmill, but a backhand slide under the stick of him at first, makes the defender go into an uneasy position, a position that I'm sure the defenseman not too pleased that he had to be put in that position. But Luke here absolutely tears him apart, and then you just see him, his good edge work, his elusive skating to be able to evade this defender, his nice set of hands as well, in tight, good edges once again, going to the backhand and ends up putting this one into the net. Now you're going to see it here, Luke just talking about his high hockey IQ, knowing when to, get to the right areas, and he's in the right area here as well. And you'll see him in front of the net here. What is going to happen next? Well, Luke makes a great pass here, picking up this loose puck. And just that nice quick pass, to the left side of the net for his team there to be able to put his teammate in a good position to score. Well, his teammate being in a good position to score, but Luke realizing that and fooling the goaltender with that pass cross crease. Now here's his dominance on the face-off. I believe he pushes this through the centerman's legs. Well, he pushes it past him nonetheless, but you're going to see Luke here. And you're going to see, he's going to see that this defenseman starts to turn. And the reason that the defenseman starts to turn here is Luke threatens to go into the middle and go into that right side at first. But he sees that defenseman turning, the defenseman closest to the glass where the play is being filmed, also turning his legs. And Luke here with his good edges, quick, elusive stride, able to go back to the left side, splitting the defenseman, and able to put that one with a nice shot off the rush, accurate once again. But you're going to see a play here. Luke in the D zone, not abandoning right away, staying down low once his team gets possession. He's off to the races, starts skating, and he's able to get by the defenseman here, and a quick release off of the rush chance that Luke had, putting it into the net. You're going to see here, Luke, I believe his team was on a penalty kill here, but he's cheating way up into the zone. And once his team gets it to him, well, it is game over. Luke goes in, quick stick handles, goes backhand, forehand, and puts this one into the net. And you talk about creativity. Well, the Zorro move, something that or the Michigan move, something that has been happening more and more in hockey. And it's just these calculated plays that these players are able to do with these high skill sets behind the net with some space as well. No one really pressuring him here. And Luke behind the net, able to pull off this Michigan move. And what a goal. A highlight reel for sure. I'm sure that's been on many social media accounts. If it hasn't already, got to get it trending, because what a goal from Luke Moroz on that one. But looking at it here, Luke going to the good positions, aggressive as well. The defenseman bobbling the puck there. Luke staying in that good middle portion of the ice, inside of the slot area as well, or close to the slot area. But Luke, he'll have a good stick, pick this one up and go backhand into the net. And you talk about his aggressive play as well here. Well, you're going to see Luke, he's the player inside the zone for White, and that's his team, Prairie Storm. And once this defenseman tries making a move past him, Luke closing the gap very nicely here as well. Aggressive, able to pickpocket this defenseman. And once he gets it, gets closer to the net and able to bury this one rooftop for a goal. What a shot there by Luke. Perfectly placed. A quick release on the shot there. and putting some power into that shot as well. But yeah, that's just the game of Luke Moroz in a nutshell. Those are just a small sample size of clips. Special thanks to his dad and Paul for sending me those. But yeah, I'll summarize it again. Luke Moroz, not only a creative player, but an aggressive player out there as well, pressuring the opposition, good with his stick, good at closing the gaps, always being in good position, it seems, and just creativity, making moves on the defense, creative passing, as you guys saw there in one of those clips earlier on in the segment. Earlier on in the clips that were being played. And he makes a lot of calculated moves. He's very smart out there, knows how to break down defensemen at high rates. And yeah, just his shot as well, an accurate, quick release. Would like to see him put a bit more power into it, but that's something that's going to come as time goes along in his skating. You talk about his stride, it looked pretty good in these clips, good on the edges, quick, and he's an elusive skater. And just going into his creativity, he just sees the ice so well. And with 108 points and 27 games played this year, with this being his draft year, I mean, put up 9 points in 4 games the season before. This is a kid that can produce, and a kid that's going to make a lot of waves in the hockey world once he gets, once he continues to get older. And let's see if he also puts on some size as well. Continues to grow in terms of physically as a hockey player. But yeah, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Player Breakdown, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below of what you liked in Luke Moroz's game. And also something that, did I miss anything, or was I bang on? You guys be the judge of that. But leave some feedback, leave a like, reaction if you did enjoy this week's edition of Player Breakdown. And yeah, excited to do it again next week with another player that I'll be covering here on the show, but that'll be interviewing on the show. But coming up after this next commercial break, everybody, yeah, we are going to take one more commercial break, and I'm going to be back to give some final words on this week's edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Stick around. Welcome back to the Prospect Show, everybody, here on ASTV Productions. Just got done doing this week's edition of Player Breakdown. Of course, that segment will be released separately on ASTV Productions as well, coming up sometime this week. So if you guys want to, maybe you missed it, be sure to check it out on our YouTube at Amateur Sports TV, as well as on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, where I will be releasing it as a separate segment, as I always do here on the network. But yeah, I want to give a special thanks to Luke Moroz, once again, of the Prairie Storm U15 AA team, for coming on this week's edition of the Prospect Show, as well as the guest that joined me in the MCN Sports Advising segment portion of the show in Noa Halat of the Okotoks Oilers U15 AAA team in the Alberta Elite Hockey League. Special thanks to you, the viewer, for also tuning in to tonight's edition of the Prospect Show, and also a special thanks to the sponsors of this week's edition of the Prospect Show, in Caisse Financial Group, Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, and TOVI Hockey. Coming up on next week's edition of the show, well, we will have a new set of players taking the time out of their Monday and joining that edition of the Prospect Show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. That is coming in about 7 days in a week's time here on next Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time on the Prospect Show. You can check it out on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, on our Twitter at Amateur Sports TV, or on our website at astvproductions.com or amateursports.tv to watch. Also, in terms of the guest list, you guys can find out who the guest list will be, what the guest list will be coming up next week on Monday morning just before noon on our social media platforms, on our Facebook, on our Twitter, and on our Instagram as well at ASTV Productions. So if you want to find out who will be joining next week's edition of the show before the show starts, be sure to check out our social media at ASTV Productions on Instagram, on Facebook, and Amateur Sports TV on Twitter as well. But that is going to do it for tonight's edition of the Prospect Show, everybody. I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your Monday night. Have a wonderful rest of your week as well. Have a great weekend as well. Stay safe out there. Weather's been a bit warmer here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, but if it is cold out there, be sure to bundle up. Of course, stay safe on the roads wherever you guys are as well. And yeah, until next Monday, folks, we'll see you then. Graeme Forsyth, host of the Prospect Show here on ASTV Productions, giving you the salute and the peace out here on this Monday night. We'll see you next time, everybody. Take care.